So before I get started, I'm going to invite you to stand up for a few seconds to, infuse your tushy, because I know it's a little numb. So just move a little bit and just stretch. Because I want everyone to wait for the message I'm going to share today. Okay, everybody good? Okay, may be seated. So, I wrote my speech a few days ago, and when I arrived here yesterday, I spoke to a few women, and then this morning I went out on the beach and I spoke to a few more women, and all of a sudden I thought about, I need to change my speech, because the conversations that we were having were so inspiring. But then I said, I worked on this speech too long and somebody's going to hear it. So, you're going to hear it. Now, I want to thank you for that wonderful, wonderful warm welcome. Sometimes I forget that's me. And thank all of you for being here today for a day of empowerment and inspiration. I would like to especially give thanks to Her Excellency, the Governor Christina Scott, who just stepped away, and for her taking out of time for a busy schedule to join us for a celebration of International Women's Day. This year's theme is Make It Happen. Its color scheme is purple, symbolizing justice and dignity, two values strongly associated with women's equality. When I think of equality, I think of the tremendous strides we have made as women. I think of the wonderful contributions that we are making to society in record numbers, in science, medicine, and education. Not to mention that we are nurturing the next generation. You name it, and we are making that difference. As I was preparing my remarks for today, many thoughts came to mind that relate to the Make It Happen theme. These thoughts influence the message that I'm going to share with you today. This message is for and about you. You, the woman who wakes up every day and tirelessly meets demands. You, the woman who fills so many other people's needs. You, the woman who may not feel like smiling, but manages to greet everyone she passes with a smile. You, the woman who sometimes receives little in return, but will give her last. And you, the woman who somehow makes it happen. How do you manage to make it happen? Perhaps it's your resilience, always standing strong, even in the midst of a storm. Perhaps it's your determination, overcoming any obstacles that may stand in your way. Or perhaps it's your dedication, being there in a time of need. That is how you make it happen, with resilience, determination, and dedication. Do you agree? Do you agree? Yes. Okay, I want to make sure everybody's awake with me today. Raise your hand if you have ever changed your schedule because someone needed you by their side. Raise your hand if you have said yes to someone's request, even if it stretched your capabilities. Raise your hand if you have set nearly impossible standards for yourself. Raise your hand if you have refrained from speaking your mind because you thought it would hurt someone. You once again made it happen. And look around you. You're not alone. Some of you have met some personal setbacks that may make you more cautious about moving forward. Believe me, you're not alone. I've been there. I was a single mother at the age of 19. I finally earned my college degree when I was 40. An attempted assault on my life led me to the decision to purchase my own home in a safe environment. Any one of those could have stopped me from moving forward, but it didn't. Allow me to share my personal story, my make it happen story. In late 2009, I was in the midst of an emotional storm. My mom suffered a ruptured cerebral aneurysm, and being an only child, it was my responsibility to care for her. For over a month, my routine consisted of waking up early, going to the hospital to meet with doctors, visiting my mother for several hours, returning to her home to sort through her bills and figure out how I was going to manage not only financially supporting my home, but her home as well. I was exhausted and I was angry. Exhausted because I was balancing it all with very little help. And angry because my mother assumed she would never be disabled and failed to prepare for the what-ifs. But regardless of my exhaustion and anger, each day I managed to walk in that hospital like everything was perfectly fine. Like I was perfectly fine. My goal was to make sure my mother was comfortable and did not have to be concerned about her care, her home, or her bills. I made it happen. Once my mother recovered from her ruptured aneurysm, I was able to return home. Walking into my home felt strange, almost like I was walking into a place that was unfamiliar. I walked down the hall, placed my suitcase at the foot of my bed, climbed in the bed, and stayed there for 3 days. As I previously mentioned, I was exhausted. And in addition to my exhaustion, I discovered that I was also depressed. For you see, as I was being a good daughter caring for my mother, I forgot to take care of me. When the work week approached, I managed to climb out of my bed, get dressed, put on some makeup to camouflage how I was feeling on the inside. As I viewed the image of the woman looking back at me in the mirror, I almost didn't recognize her. I didn't recognize the face I had looked at for over 42 years. How I felt on the inside was making its way to the surface. I could see it, and it scared me. It scared me because I didn't want to go to work and have someone ask if I was okay. I was not sure how I would respond. When I walked through the office doors, I was able to muster up a ingenuous smile as I greeted my colleagues. To be honest, I was not in the mood to smile in someone's face and make small talk when my insides were in knots. All I wanted to do was seek refuge in my bed, but somehow I made it happen. I made it through the day without breaking down. But my attempt to camouflage how I was feeling on the inside was not as good as I thought. After a few days, my boss, Risa, called me in her office and asked if I was okay. Tears began to stream down my face. She knew, and I could no longer hide behind the makeup. I shared with Risa that I was tired and I was angry with my mother. It felt like I was carrying the weight of the world on my shoulders. I told Risa it was taking all of my strength not to crawl under my desk in the fetal position and cry. I wanted to be alone, hidden in my bedroom with my thoughts, and Risa was concerned. She knew the words I spoke were real, she wanted to help. She asked me if I needed to go away, and my response was yes. With her permission, I stepped away from work and started my journey towards healing, self-care. As I planned my escape to practice self-care, the women I call my sister friends rallied around me. These are women who know me. I could not hide from them how I was truly feeling. They too recognized that I was not Tina, the one who always smiled. They knew I needed to go away, and they helped me prepare for the journey. My journey led me here to Anguilla. I used the tranquility of the island as a resource to rediscover Tina. So many emotional moments transpired while I was here. However, the pinnacle of my self-discovery took place right out there on Rendezvous Bay. I was sitting on the sand, staring at the clouds, and at some point, the word God formed in the clouds. I was amazed, and I kept blinking, making sure my eyes did not deceive me. Almost immediately, I stood up, walked in the water, and began to cry uncontrollably. I asked God, what do you want me to do? I no longer want to feel tired. I no longer want to feel angry. I needed to be the Tina I was before I went to care for my mother. Unfortunately, that woman was gone, and a new one was emerging, and I was about to come into my own. Now, considering most of you don't know me, there's something I need to share. I have issues with getting my hair wet. I know, it's crazy, right? All this beautiful water and I would like to get my hair wet. But on that day, I wasn't concerned about my hair. And without hesitation, I slipped under the surface of the sea, submerged my head in the cool water, and when I resurfaced, I felt relieved, refreshed, renewed, and rejuvenated. The anger and tired feeling I felt began to dissipate in that very moment. My experience on Rendezvous Bay was utterly transforming. I not only felt cleansed, but somehow I felt liberated. I decided that it was important for me to begin making choices that were in harmony with my essential authenticity, that was in harmony with my personal gifts. And with that revelation, I felt the need to share my experience with other women and mentor them through their own journeys of self-discovery. When I left Anguilla, I continued to heal through meditation, self-help books, and mental health therapy. The journey was long, but soon I recognized the woman in the mirror, and she was no longer scared. My sister friends visited me, and I shared the transforming experience that took place, then stated that I was going to form a business that focused on helping women heal from past pain and inspire them to practice self-love. And so I started my life transformation career. Since then, I've had the opportunity to appear in the newspaper, on television, and interviewed on several Blog Talk radio shows. More important, I host yearly retreats in the Caribbean for women entitled Remember Me. But my ultimate goal, I wanted to share my message with all women, not just locally, not just nationally, but around the world. A big goal I had no idea how I was going to accomplish. But armed with resilience, determination, and dedication, I knew I could make it happen. Fast forward to May of 2014. I was hosting a retreat here in Anguilla, and I wanted to give back to the local women. I shared my plan with a few friends, and they were gracious enough to connect me with Ranye of the Gender Affairs Unit. It was my hope that Ranye would assist me in bringing together a small group of women in need of just a little inspiration. My hope became a reality when the Seroptimus Club agreed to host a discussion. The small group turned into 20 women who weathered a storm to be inspired. During the discussion, I asked the women one simple question. What do you miss that you no longer do? There was a myriad of responses, but one stood out amongst the rest. A mother of a child with a disability said she missed rest. She shared the story of caring for her daughter day and night, and it reminded me of the time when I was caring for my mother. I invited the woman to join me in the front of the room to share a little more of why she was tired. And then I issued a challenge to the ladies in the room. I challenged them to come to the aid of their sister friend, fulfill her simple request for rest. She was asking for help, their help. And I'm sure you can imagine how hard it was for this woman to set her pride aside and admit she needed help. But somehow, she opened her mouth and said it. A week after I returned from home, I received an email in regards to the challenge I shared with the ladies. I learned that a few of the women were inspired and visited the mother on Mother's Day. They gave her a special Mother's Day gift, the gift of rest. So, perhaps you're wondering about my make it happen moment. Do you remember that big goal of inspiring women around the world? Do you? Yeah. Just making sure. Well, 2 weeks ago, my make it happen moment arrived in the form of an email. The email was an invitation to be your keynote speaker. This invitation was my make it happen moment because it was the first step towards my big goal. I have every confidence that there will be a second, third, and many more steps. But this one is special because it's dedicated to you. Ladies, I shared the story of my revelation with you in hopes that you would be inspired to make it happen as well. Your goals may be different from mine or the woman sitting next to you, but with resilience, determination, and dedication, I'm sure you can make it happen. Now, I have an inspiring exercise for you to do, and even though you may not know one another very well, you have formed an impression of the woman you have met. And you know we all do that. So, on your table, there is a pen and there is a piece of paper. Please take it. I want you to look to the woman to your left. Your left. And on that paper, I want you to write an inspiring word, one word for her. Strong, caring, deserving, loving, powerful, resilient, anything you choose, as long as it is positive and inspiring. You have 30 seconds, go. Whatever words you came up with, hand it to the lady on your left. Everyone have their word? Okay. You all know what your left is, right? Okay. You all know some positive words to give your sister, right? Give it to her. I gave you 4 words when I said it. Huh? You write down 1 word. But for those who are having a challenge, I read 4 words already. A little southern accent is coming out a little bit. Okay, so who wants to share their word? No one wants to share their word? Yes. Listen, ladies.
The word I received was connect.
Connect. Connect. She received connect. Does that word validate how you think about yourself?
Yes, I think it's something that I've been yearning to do more recently, so I think it really falls in on time.
Okay. Who else wants to share their word? I'm going to pick one person at the table, so either you raise your hand or you get chosen. Yes, ma'am. Is that you? Okay. This table, yes.
Gentle giant.
Gentle giant. Is that you? Table back there. Go ahead.
I got loving.
Loving. Ooh, I love that word. Is that you, ma'am?
I hope so.
Okay. Yes.
I have enlightening, and I think that's true because I do like to educate.
Okay, the table over here. Stop acting like I'm not going to pick you because I am. Driven. Are you driven? Okay. Yes. Hardworking. Yes. She said yes. Don't smile. Yeah. I said 1. Follow the instructions. Okay. Beautiful. Yes, you are. My front table here. Who wants to go? Valuable. Are you valuable? Did I miss a table? Okay, yes. Pick one. Beautiful. Yes. I covered every table. Don't know what you're trying to hide from me. Yes, Susan. Okay. Good. I got tenacious. So, when I host a workshop or a retreat, this is one of the exercises I do with the women. The exercise allows them to receive and reflect on a message from someone who only knows about them what they learned in a brief time together. 2 years ago, I did a retreat in Turks and Caicos, and I gave each of the ladies, we left these on the table in our dining room, and each day, someone would stick a word in there. And this is my shell that I broke this morning, so I'm a little bit sad. But I keep it as a reminder of what other women have thought about me. Supportive, amazing, loving, authentic. And I keep it because whenever I feel like I want to give up, I read those words to myself because I know those are what other women thought about me. So what I want to encourage you to do is keep your word in plain sight. And whenever you are feeling down or whenever you hit that brick wall, look at your word of inspiration. Say it 3 times and remember, you are awesome. Women like you all over the world are doing amazing things with their lives. And I know you are too. But don't feel that you have to do it all at once. Set your goals. Take one step at a time. Give to others, but save a little for yourself. Always stay in harmony with your authenticity and give yourself some space when you need it. When one door leads you astray, don't be afraid to open another. I leave you with this closing message from my mentor, former editor-in-chief of Essence Magazine, Susan L. Taylor. Believe that you are capable of creating the life you want for yourself, because you are. You were born for this hour, born to win in life, not to lose. But to be a winner, you need a winner's attitude. Get used to thinking of yourself as a winner and to speaking and acting like one. Renew your faith in yourself and in your oneness with God. Thank you for allowing me to inspire you to make it happen. And I offer a heartfelt thank you to the Cuisinart Resort and Spa and the Gender Affairs Unit for hosting a luncheon in honor of you. Go forth and enjoy an amazing journey.